One of the country's most wanted men faces a judge today.
The former Contractors Association boss sent to jail. Find out why.
And the search continues for 3 men missing at sea. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This segment of the news is brought to you by BTC, powered by Lime.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Kendino Knowles.
Topping the news tonight, police have charged 27-year-old Pinewood Gardens resident Ronaldo Adderley, pictured here wearing the light green shirt, with a number of armed robbery-related charges. The 27-year-old is accused of using a firearm to endanger the lives of 3 men on February 7th and then partnering with 19-year-old Jeffrey Morley to rob Mario Connolly at gunpoint of $7,000 worth of jewelry on February 6th. He was accused in the shooting of 2 police officers, as you may recall, last week. Adderley is also accused of threatening to kill Alexia Fox on 2 occasions.
Meantime, Adderley's co-accused, 23-year-old Taylor Street and Nassau Village resident Emmanuel Roll, also known as Manny, wearing the tan striped shirt, was charged with robbing Capuchin Armley of a $4,000 rental car. It is also alleged that he robbed Advon Ferguson of $24,000 that belonged to Titan's web shop back on December 21st, and then continuing that robbery spree when he allegedly stole $2,200 worth of jewelry from a resident a month later. All defendants were denied bail and were remanded to prison. They returned to court on June 25th. Now, you may recall that Adderley was initially on the run from police after he reportedly was involved in a police chase in the Pinewood Gardens area. 2 police officers were shot in the ordeal. Police were also questioning Adderley for the murder of 55-year-old Margaret Oltime. That incident occurred on February 3rd in a convenience store at the intersection of Palmetto Avenue and East Street. Well, the former president of the Bahamian Contractors Association sentenced to jail time today after being convicted earlier of stealing electricity from BEC. Well, as Foreign Carey tells us tonight, the sentence is not sitting well with his attorney.
Well-known contractor, 61-year-old Stephen Winkle, will have to spend a year behind bars for stealing electricity from BEC. The former president of the Bahamian Contractors Association will also have to pay a fine of $1,000 within the month or spend an additional 3 months in prison. That sentence handed down by Magistrate Derrence Roll Davis. Winkle was convicted after the court found him guilty of stealing electricity for the Bay Park building downtown, which he managed back in February and March of last year. In his plea in mitigation, Winkle's attorney Jomo Campbell tried to convince the court that nothing would be gained from sending Winkle to prison, noting that the Eastern Road resident has no previous convictions, has learned his lesson, and a criminal record would prevent him from traveling out of the jurisdiction. But the magistrate wasn't swayed. He told Winkle his crime is inexcusable and cannot be taken lightly. He also indicated that Winkle just wanted the light on at any cost, noting that the electrician involved in the matter should have also been charged before the court. He then sentenced Winkle, who appeared calm, to 1 year in prison. Also during Winkle's sentencing, 36-year-old Adina Farah, also represented by attorney Jomo Campbell, was sentenced by Magistrate Derrence Roll Davis to 1 year in prison on charges of resisting arrest by police officers, issuing threats of death, and the use of obscene language in the straw market 2 years ago. Now, Farah and Winkle will begin serving their 1 year prison sentences immediately. However, their attorney has indicated that their sentences are unduly harsh, and he says he will be filing an appeal.
We're going to make the application as soon as the Court of Appeal can hear us. We would have to give regard to their schedule and also take into consideration the fact that we're going to file these appeals right now. So as soon as their schedule will permit, our calendars, the calendars of the attorneys in our firm, will be adjusted to accommodate the earliest date for the defendants.
Foreign Carey, ZNS Network News.
Prime Minister Perry Christie told reporters outside Cabinet today that along with those 140 workers at the Wyndham Nassau Beach Resort, additional layoffs were being contemplated for another Baha property, but that thankfully that is not going to happen, at least for now. Our Charisma Robinson has more.
Prime Minister Perry Christie says he was made aware of the layoffs of the 140 workers from the Wyndham Nassau Beach Resort by Bahamar's chief Sarkis Ismailian. At the same time, he says he was also led to believe that some workers at the Sheraton Resort might have also been in line for termination.
I was told that an effort would be made to not have that happen, and it's an outcome that I'm happy about because that has not happened.
Mr. Christie could not say definitively, though, whether layoffs at Sheraton are completely out of the question, as executives of that mega development have given that same assurance before. So he says when he meets with Ismailian sometime this week, he's hoping to get a clear idea of the fate of both Wyndham and Sheraton properties.
The law is the law. It enables them to take certain actions if they feel it necessary for the survival of their property. But as I indicated to the President of the Union, I will have discussions with Mr. Ismailian about the way forward, including the plight of the workers who were laid off.
Now, the Prime Minister did not clearly articulate a plan to assist those displaced workers. He did say, though, that the government will now have to ensure that the rights of workers are protected.
The government cannot interfere with decisions of employers when employers make those decisions. You saw that with the 800 people who were laid off at Atlantis a few years ago. What we are able to do, though, is to be able to sit with the employers with a view to trying to understand the basis for their decision. It will give us a greater understanding of an industry where more protection should be put in place for workers.
And when it comes to claims of a strained relationship between the government and Bahamar executives, Mr. Christie said,
I think both Mr. Ismailian and myself, we are aware of the extent to which we had very good relations in the past, and I think we both feel that a much greater effort must be made for the parties to be on the same page moving forward.
Meantime, Bahamar's Senior Vice President of External and Governmental Affairs, Robert Sand, says based on the economic conditions a year in advance to Bahamar's opening, a decision will be made as to whether the Wyndham will remain open. If a decision is made to close it, Mr. Sand says the 430 workers that now remain will be deployed in Bahamar. Charisma Robinson, ZNS Network News.
Another toasty day around the $700, but outside of our studios just now, we have a temperature of 76 degrees with patchy clouds, relative humidity 68%, winds out of the south-southeast at 6 knots, your barometric pressure 1,018.3 millibars, that's 30.06 inches, and it is steady. But stay tuned, temperatures around the family violence, travel and boating forecast is still to come.
The families of 3 Bahamian men missing at sea are holding out hope that their loved ones are still alive tonight. This after the 3 men failed to arrive at their destination 3 days ago.
Well, as Andrew Knowles tells us tonight, the family says what makes it even more painful is that authorities are allegedly dragging their feet and trying to locate the missing men. Well, Andrew, tell us, what is their plight?
Well, Condino, the families are trying their best to really hold it together as the whereabouts of their loved ones remained a mystery. It was Friday afternoon when the men left New Providence en route to Ragged Island on a single-engine blue and white 25-foot cigarette boat. But from all accounts, they never arrived.
Dad, Cecil II, contacted him just to find out where he was. And he stated that they just stopped into Norman's Key to refuel the boat and to leave. They should have arrived in Ragged Island, I guess, later that evening. But on Sunday morning, we got a call from a relative, his aunt from Ragged Island, who called us early Sunday to say that they never arrived. And, so it's been very, very stressful on all the families concerned.
And since that time, relatives of 27-year-old Cecil Cartwright, 39-year-old Julian Wallace, the father of 4, and 47-year-old Keno Greenslade, the father of 2, have been searching for answers.
We really don't want to think anything beyond the fact that the engine may have been blown, and that they're drifting, maybe caught up somewhere. And we just want the authorities to find them, help us find them and bring them home.
Even more, Cecil's aunt, Constance McKinney, and Julian's girlfriend, Pauline Maycock, are also critical of the response from authorities, like the Defense Force, to their initial pleas for help.
We have been in contact with all the authorities. Basra has responded. The family members have been going out, but other than that, the other authorities have not moved as quickly, from our understanding.
I don't feel like enough is being done, and you don't never feel it until the shoe is on the other foot. They are fathers, they are uncles, they are brothers. We just asking for someone to please help and assistance with the search. Maybe someone can contact the United States Coast Guard. They have better electronic devices to help and locate them. That's all we're asking.
Now, contrary to what the family claims, Defense Force officials say they've been searching for the men since Saturday. But Lieutenant Origen Delaveau confirmed that the U.S. Coast Guard only began its aerial search today. And although there is no indication they reached their destination, the family's hope is that they're marooned on a nearby key and survived whatever they were confronted with on the high seas.
The only thing that I fear right now, the weather was very bad on Friday and Saturday. And what they have against them is current and wind. And that's my biggest fear. They could be anywhere.
Now, our news team also spoke with officials from Basra who report that their search efforts have turned up negative so far. But operations manager Chris Lloyd says the last time the men made contact with anyone was through text message. BTC tracked that text to its Forbes Hill Tower site in Georgetown, Exuma. Additionally, Mr. Lloyd told our news team that the weather conditions were bad and that the boat the men were on was certainly not suitable for that type of weather or journey. But he, like the family, remains hopeful tomorrow brings some good news.
Well, still to come tonight, we have local reaction to the Pope's announcement.
And we've got a Valentine treat for the ladies. Stay with us. There's more.